Do it again, Jan.
Whose school?
Our school!
Whose school?
Our school! Come on, chaps!
We go to schools, our schools, and we want it loud. Are you ready, people? Whose schools?
Our schools!
What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? Okay, let's change. Whose school?
Our school!
Whose school?
Our school!
Whose community?
Our community!
Is it the Caesar's community?
No!
Good thinking.
What do you think of academisation?
I think it's fine as long as people choose it. My argument is that if something's foisted on you and you don't get a choice, then I'm against it. I mean, it's okay if you get a school that decides to become an academy, they've got their own reasons for doing that, that's fine. In this particular situation we're dealing with today, what you've got is people who've had it dropped on them from a great height and whose opinion hasn't been listened to, whose views haven't been acknowledged, and I think it's a crying shame in a country like ours that we should let democracy go by the board, mainly because of, I suspect, financial interests in the background, but not the interests of my community.
Yeah, my name is Colin Butters.
Okay, and you're a parent of a Hewett student at the moment?
I am, yeah. I am worried about the future. Obviously, for my daughter still there, she's still got to go through, hopefully, sixth form. So, yes, I'm worried about my daughter's future. But I'm also worried about what could happen to the school, because I think if someone like the Inspiration Trust gets hold of it, I mean, they could put all sorts of other schools on the site. The site could be sold off. It's a brilliant piece of land that belongs to the people of Norwich, and it shouldn't just disappear into the hands of a private conglomerate that could just make a fortune out of what they want to do with it.
My name is Tessa Kelly, and my daughter is at the Hewett and has been incredibly happy there since she joined. She's now a U10 pupil, and neither myself or my daughter want Inspiration anywhere near Hewett. From a political point of view, I know what the Inspiration Trust are up to. They're after the land, they're capitalists, they're profiteers, they will make money out of that land. That's the only reason they've got their eye on that school. It's not for the benefit of the pupils, and I know. I've worked inside, as I said, at Hewett Academy, and the working conditions change overnight. Teachers are totally stretched, their workload gets bigger, tutor periods are scrubbed out in favour of another lesson, children are hot-housed, which I term cheating, coursework's rewritten and rewritten, it becomes an exam factory, key stage 3 and 4 are staggered, lunch times cut short, there's no community, it's a divide and rule mentality within those trust schools, there's cronies.
But I'm strongly opposed to the whole process of academisation, and I can see what it's doing to schools and free schools as well, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm really mistrustful of them, and I've looked into their performance a little bit, and I can see that they're failing, and so they're not only failing the children, but they're failing the parents of those children who put those children into those schools under trust. And what I think is really shocking about this is the fact that it's a community school beloved by its community, and the Inspiration Trust are just coming in with their great boots on and trying to take it away from the community.
Speaking of the children, I better just film this, sorry. Thank you, though.
You can't spell Hewett without we, actually. So. Shout out to Olivia and Evie. Thank you.
I believe Hewett is a good school that encourages more than just academic success. It encourages individualism and pursuing things students enjoy, and that should be celebrated.
I think think that the Hewett School really cares for its students, and if we become an academy, we're just going to be looked after by people who only think of us as test results and ways to earn money.
I think that the Hewett School is amazing, and I really love it. And I also think that the Inspiration Trust is anything but inspirational. It takes away individuality, and we should all stand up against this.
I want to say that every time my sisters come back from school, they always have a smile on their face, and that's from Hewett.
All they want to do is take the Hewett's land and make us into robots and do what they want, make us do what they want to do. And we don't want to do that. We're all in this together.
Hewett is as good as it is. Academies can't make it better.
I think that the education system is treated too much like a business, and I feel that it should be changed and stuff. Yeah.
Right. I might rant on a little bit, but first, we don't want the queen of everything corrupt to take over our school, do we? No, just as I thought. I'm also quite worried that if we do become an academy, we will no longer be our arts college, which we are really, really good for. It's what we're known for. Yeah, it's our uniform, so yeah. There's a lot of students here and a lot of people that I do recognise, including teachers, but I think the people who do need a massive, massive round of applause are all the organisers for today. So, hello Isaac. Finally, what are we here for today? Because we're back in Hewett!
My name is Ben Holland, I'm a student of the Hewett School, and I would like to see a change after today's actions. The reason why I would like a change is that I don't think we should become an academy, because the people who are going to take us over, the Inspiration Trust and Rachel D'Souza, are extremely corrupt. We don't want to become a money-making scheme, we want to still do stuff for the local community.
Have you got a message for any other students in the area?
I think we need as much support as we can get to help us to fight off the Department for Education and stay as a local authority school.
I really don't belong to any political party much. I'm not really a political animal. I don't think I've taken part in a protest before. I'm really not here for that reason, not political. I'm not an educationalist. For me, this is personal. See, the thing is, my son went to the Hewett. He left the Hewett to get a 2-1 degree, and he's now teaching in China. There was nothing unusual about a kid from the Hewett getting to university. It's a fantastic school for the high flyers, but it's also a fantastic school for everybody else. It's all about helping each person, each student, achieve what they're capable of achieving. That's what it's about.
Hi, I'm John Ranson from Eastern Otley College, and as a student in this area, I'm supporting the We're Back in Hewett campaign because I oppose the privatisation of education. I oppose the idea of handing over local assets to unaccountable private organisations who can then take massive salaries whilst gradually deteriorating the standard of education, funneling children into an exam sausage factory, and basically reducing the quality of education in the area.
Alright, could you give us a honk as well? You've had that up in your window?
I've had this up in my front window, yeah.
What's the response been like? What's the response been like?
Oh, nobody said anything, but...
Well, you know, you gotta put the bait out if you're going to catch any fish.
No, I made 2 of these, I've given one away to somebody else.
My name's John Franklin, I'm Secretary of Norfolk People's Assembly. I've come here today because I think it's incredibly important that we support community campaigns like this against the academisation of schools, both here in Norfolk and elsewhere. elsewhere. It's really important to tie in the fact that all this is happening under the ideological onslaught of this government, who are the imposers of austerity, and they're causing misery for people all up and down this country. And they're basically selling the souls off to people that are going to make profit out of them. And it's really important, as I said, to just kind of join together and support each other in trying to get rid of people like that and anybody else who has a pro-austerity policy.
I'm really proud to say that I'm a governor, a teacher and the assistant head at one of the only remaining community schools in the area, and we've got no intention of becoming a free school or an academy. And it's hard for the teachers who are working at Hewett at the moment to stand up here and say something because they're anxious for what's going to happen in the future, and they're working so hard with all the kids to make sure they've got the best chance of getting a good future and getting the results they want. So can we give a big cheer to all the teachers and the students that are working hard? So I'm speaking today to show solidarity with the staff, students and local community, and to make it clear this is part of a much bigger fight for the future of comprehensive education. And I want to start just by dispelling some of the myths that we hear about academies and free schools. Firstly, we're told academies and free schools raise standards, and that's wrong. And we need to keep saying loud and clear that there's no evidence that academies and free schools raise standards. And in January this year, a parliamentary inquiry called upon the government to stop exaggerating the success of academies and be more open about how they're run. And the cross-party select committee said there was no proof that academies raise standards for students altogether or disadvantaged students. So academies do not raise standards.
My name's Ian Anderson and I'm a parent of a child at the Hewett School, and I've been involved with the We Back Hewett campaign right from the start.
Where do you think it should go now?
I think the school should remain in local authority control. It's about democratic accountability, it's about people standing up for what they believe and for a community school. We feel there's huge issues about the academisation process, the government's academies process, and essentially this is about people with power not listening to the views of the local community.
Where does the campaign go after today?
Well, we're going to be having a planning meeting next week, and we will see what we can do. But obviously, we're reaching sort of a critical point now, and we're really trying to keep the pressure on, and we'll carry on trying to do that.
Secondly, the second myth is that being an academy or a free school gives you more freedom. Again, this is rubbish. Schools can get support from the local authority when they need it, and they can procure other services when they need it as well. And a good community school will already be working with parents, the community, local business, but it's professionals and teachers in charge making the decisions, which is how it should be. The third myth is that you get more money if you're an academy school. And on the face of it, academies do get more money per pupil, but actually that's not counting the fact that academies then have to procure services that the local authority would provide. So actually, again, this is another myth. And do we want our school leaders and our head teachers being businessmen, or do we want them running comprehensive schools? I think we want them running schools and working on teaching and learning. And final myth is that academies improve results. And yeah, we've seen the results of some local free schools and academies rocket locally, but these have often been earned by hot housing kids for equivalent exams which are less rigorous. And that's why this summer we saw quite a few results drop, and in some cases of Inspiration Trust schools, they didn't publish the results last summer because they'd dropped so much. So academies and free schools do not improve results either.
So where's the campaign going after today?
After today, the campaign will continue on two fronts. We've obviously got the legal action that we're pursuing as a local authority. We're going to be taking the Department for Education to judicial review because we believe they haven't followed their own guidance and it's completely unjust. From the community point of view as well, we're going to carry on gathering signatures on the petition over the weekend. We should be handing that in at the Department for Education on Monday. We'll see their response. If the judicial review fails to slow things down sufficiently to get us past the general election, then I'll be speaking to the local community as a campaign. I think we need to be considering direct action and actually making sure that you know that school is us and it belongs to us, and as a local community they know that we will not be moved.
I think the second half of what I want to say is why comprehensive schools matter. So give a cheer if you're in favour of comprehensive schools. Okay, give a cheer if you want schools that are the heartbeat of the local community, run by people that have high expectations but know the area and the people that they're working with. Who wants that? Who wants schools that give students a broad and balanced curriculum and include subjects like sex and relationships education, music, creative arts and sport? Who wants schools that develop curiosity in students, asking them to question things and think progressively about the world around them, rather than turning them into robots that can fill in an exam paper in an hour with facts? And who wants schools that have fully qualified teachers, not an ever-changing cast of untrained, burnt-out staff? And we know this works from the success of local schools like Thorpe and Aylsham, schools which are very good or outstanding and have followed this model. So becoming an academy or a free school is not the only way to improve a school. Lastly, I'm a member of the National Union of Teachers, and last year I went on strike. And there were loads of reasons why so many people went on strike. Pension changes were obviously a major thing, but moreover, people on strike and on the picket lines wanted to talk about broader issues. They wanted to talk about fully qualified staff. They wanted to talk about the fight against academies and free schools. And they wanted to talk about the fact that 2 out of 5 teachers quit in the first 5 years. And I stood in Chapelfield Gardens calling for Michael Gove to go, and a week later, he did. And that proves, comrades, that protest does work, but we've got to move quickly. So I'm demanding 2 things. Number 1, that we demand that Hewett stays under local authority control. And number 2, that we demand that whoever wins the next election needs to stop gambling with taxpayers' money and return all schools to local authority control. If we stand together, we can win together. Good luck.
There's a lot of people here, and we really need the people of Norwich to get behind the Hewett now and just stop this happening, because this, this could be a turning point in schools being turned into academies. If we can stop this, it might give people in other communities around the country a chance to do the same for their schools.